Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. In this video I'm going to show you how I refurbish this little bowl which I made in 1983 or maybe 84, and it's been in use ever since. So what I need is something to fit inside here, and this will more or less do it. This is a bowl which started to split, so I'm not going to pursue that. Screw chuck, I don't need all that screw, so first thing which goes on is a little pad just to shorten the length of the screw, and then that's already got a hole on it. That is a bit too tight to go, or a bit too tight a radius to go inside the bowl, so I need to just flatten that a bit. So 1/2 inch spindle gouge. That's looking a wee bit better. Let's see how that goes. Yep, that feels fine. And then I've got a bit of non-slip cloth, not particularly big, but it's keeping the wood off the wood. And I don't want a hole in the bottom, so I've got my little bit of MDF with a little hole drilled in the middle, so the cone on the tail center doesn't make a mark on the middle of the bowl. So I can just tweak that around until it's running pretty well true. Really just watching the high side come up and then pulling it in. If you've ever done any pottery, it's like centering clay. I'll probably be near enough. Yep. Because over the years this has probably warped a little bit anyway. Right, I'm going to have the dust extraction on. Start with 180 grit and just see what happens. Too worried about doing the bottom too much. That'll be hidden away anyway. And some 240 grit. Now this originally wouldn't have been finished probably any finer than 180 grit, which is what we finished with in the early 80s generally. So it's going to be a much better finish this time. And just get a rotary sander out. Still 240 grit. I'll use a fresh disc here when I can find it. Right, there we are. So this just goes round with the wood, tends to take away any swirl marks. Lovely. so that's that, and it's actually going straight back into use, so I don't really need to oil it, so I won't. I'll put a bit of beeswax on just so you can see how it comes up. And this is all it would have had originally. Probably wasn't using much oil. Those of you following the sock, this is a new sock. Now, there's a pale streak there, and probably something to do with the grain. I need to get right into that corner, so force some wax in. This will be washed within a day, within 24 hours, so most of that wax will, all that wax will then come off. There we are. Now that is now going to get turned round and go into what is now an historic artifact. Just disassemble this so I can use that again. Now this is going on to a Raffan collet chuck, which is the just happens to fit the foot. This is actually made before this chuck came along, I think. And it is no longer available for anybody who wants to know. And basically, it's a very nice little chuck in its day, but it got zapped quite rightly by the Nova chuck from Technotool. And then along came the Vic Marks and other chucks, and I'm all Vic Mark. Right, 180 grit again. So originally it looks as though there was a little bit of picked up grain there. I can just rubbing my finger against that. I can just feel it picked up a bit, so I'm going in reverse for that bit. So it's walked very slightly over the years, which is what that rattling sound is. Right, and that is that bowl. There's still a little mark in the middle there, but that's just long-term wear and tear. That'll be fine for the moment. Well, probably for the rest of its life, as far as I'm concerned.